And I get into that internal dialogue of, well, I don't have this kind of career. I don't have that kind of house. And they're not like that. Believe me, it's not them, it's me.
Mhm.
So I noticed when I went home, there wasn't that internal dialogue anymore.
Hey, Rebecca, thanks so much for coming to hang out with me today.
Well, thank you for having me. I'll give you my Gomer wave. I'm always wildly enthusiastic.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it. So, Rebecca, can you start off sharing your story by telling us a little bit about how you felt prior to coming to QHS?
Well, I've had a lot of challenges, not like some people I've heard in the interviews, but they've been my challenges. I've had, as a child, I was very ill. And then I went and grew up, went and lived overseas. I got typhoid fever, which was an experience in the Amazon jungle. And
Wow.
then, yeah. And then later on, I started getting things like Epstein-Barr. And after that, I got diagnosed with breast cancer about 8 years ago.
Oh.
And that was a journey because I haven't had any surgery, any radiation, or any chemo.
Really? What'd you
Still
do?
here. Yeah, I used everything holistic. And the mystery is, I don't know if it's come back or not, because there is a mass, but it could be scar tissue or it could be the bad stuff returned. But the thing is, if I go to the doctor because I didn't have the unholy trinity of chemo, radiation, and surgery, instant. I went to one doctor a few years ago, and he was writing a script for me to go see a breast surgeon. It wasn't like, let's run some tests. It was instant. We got to get you there tomorrow. And if it would fix it, I would have done it. If surgery, radiation, and chemo would fix it, I would do it. I'm not a movie star. I'm not vain, but I think chemo has a cure rate of less than 5%.
I know.
So why would I do that? And if I did that, I still have 100% chance of damage to my brain. Not to mention bones and teeth and everything else that's involved. So I'm stubborn.
Well, I mean, when you explain it with those odds, I mean, really, it makes sense.
Oh yeah, you get better odds at Vegas than that.
Wow, I never thought about it that way. So then when did you get your device?
I can't give you the date, but it was that little flat thing that came in the belt.
Oh, okay. So you've been around for a while.
First, yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what did you notice with the device?
Well, you're going to laugh at me, but the first thing I noticed was my cat. I have a little black cat, and she totally changed. She became more playful, energetic. I mean, she was a good cat to begin with, but she just went off the charts. She went from hiding when people came over to coming up to them as though, oh, good, you're here, you can pet me.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah, that really struck me because I'm very skeptical, and I thought, she doesn't know what placebo effect means.
Exactly.
At first I had like more sleep and more energy, and then of course you start detoxing, and so you do your improvements and your downs and all that. The big thing I noticed was the first Christmas I went to visit my family in Alabama. Christmases are always hard for me. I don't have any family other than cousins, and I get kind of down. And also with my cousins, they're wonderful people, but they're all like wildly successful. And I get into that internal dialogue of, well, I don't have this kind of career. I don't have that kind of house. And they're not like that. Believe me, it's not them, it's me.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can see how that could be.
Yeah. So, and no children, and of course now no grandchildren. So, I mean, the cat's wonderful, but she's a cat. She's never going to graduate from catdom. That's as far as she can go. So I noticed when I went home, there wasn't that internal dialogue anymore. And it was a very challenging Christmas because this was the last Christmas my family were going to spend in the house. They'd been there for 50 years. So it was like I knew where every Christmas ornament went. I had helped decorate for Christmas, and this was going to be the last Christmas in the house there. But even in spite of all that, I was very happy and upbeat and contented and cheerful. And that was a big win.
That's great.
Since then, I've gotten, it's funny how things turn on and turn off, like holistic people talk about the layers of the onion, so you get excited about this and then something else shows up and then you've got another little hill to climb. But I know I'm doing better. And the great thing was when Dr. Alfredo said that if you're hurting, you're healing. Because before that, I was starting to get worried. I had all these really weird, random, strong pains. And I'm like, oh, well, that just must need to heal. So then it was okay. You don't mind hurting if you're healing.
How long would those last you?
Well, my hands started hurting in January, and they're just in the last couple of weeks quit being so difficult. It was like, I don't know, carpal tunnel and gout,
Wow.
And I just persevered, so I guess there was a lot of damage to the hands to get fixed, and I'm doing my part. I try to eat right, take the supplements, do everything I can do to do my part to help it work well or faster.
Thank you for reminding me. I have not been good about taking my supplements.
Oh no, you got to. I have a good friend that's literally a rocket scientist. He has a resume that you'd swear was science fiction. And he showed me this article from Aviation News because he designs his last project that we discussed. He was designing the interior of a spaceship for Virgin Galactic. Yeah, wow. He's that good. So he showed me this article, and they interviewed all these pioneers in aviation. What were the most important innovations in the last X number of years? And what was interesting, one of them was the checklist. You know how before you take your plane off, you go down and you do check this, that, the other. Okay, I have that in the morning, and I have it posted. So then I don't get 3/4 through the day and go, oh darn, I forgot my supplements, or So that's what I use. I have a checklist for important stuff that I know, packing and just anything. I've got a checklist.
Okay, I'm gonna make a checklist. That's a great idea. Thank you for saying that.
You're welcome. I figure if NASA uses it.
Right. It must be important.
Right.
Good idea. Okay. So let me ask you this. Have you taken your device and put it on your breast where you're feeling the mass?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's just gotten bigger. Of course, now I know this is not supposed to cure or heal. It's supposed to prepare me for the healing.
Right.
So I'm not particularly upset. Would I wish it were going the other direction? Yeah. but it'll all come out all fine.
Okay. Are you doing any of the holistic things that you did the first time around?
Well, I haven't done the black salve. That's what I did the first time. Have you ever heard of that?
No, I haven't.
It sounds like something out of Star Wars or Harry Potter, but it actually works. It's an old Cherokee native recipe, and you have to get the salve that's prepared. There are places you can find it if you know. It uses things like bloodroot and red clover, and you put it on the surface of the skin above the problem. And every day it draws the cancer until it's in a big mass. And then once it's all in one mass, it starts to separate from the rest of the body. And it just goes, it took me 36 days. And then in the end, it just drops out and you have like a crater there, you know, where it was with new flesh. And eventually, of course, it fills up from the bottom and the sides and leaves quite a scar depending on the size of what the tumor was. But it sure beats other things, you know. It's extremely painful.
That's what I was going to ask you.
When it's drying or pulling, it's like you have twine in your muscle or in your flesh, and somebody's yanking on it. And you don't know when it's going to grab you. I was at work. I worked up as long as I could, and I'd be in the middle of a sentence, and all of a sudden, you know, it would do its thing, and I couldn't stop it, and I couldn't anticipate it. So I tried to warn everybody, I'm not trying to be a drama queen. I just, you know, it's going to do what it's going to do, and it won't last. So just go with the flow.
Wow. I've never heard of that. That's so interesting. Whenever you have time, just if you could please email me some information about like where to get that.
Oh yeah.
I can put it in my tool belt.
You know, it's wonderful. It's fabulous.
Awesome. Yeah, I would love to hear all of your stuff so that I have my little resource center. Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't want to digress too much. So can you tell me more about how you enjoyed wearing the QTWE device? Like how else has it helped you?
Well, I just move it around, and if something's hurting, you know, I put it on there.
Oh.
And oh yeah, yeah. In fact, it's funny. I have a girlfriend who's a professional flamenco dancer. And when I go to visit her, of course, she has tons of owies, you know, dancing flamenco.
Oh,
they're so
gosh,
hard on their bodies. So I'll walk in and just hand it to her, and we'll sit and talk, have a glass of wine, and she's putting it on all her owies until I leave. And then she's like, oh my God, that's so much better. Thank you.
That is so cool. How long does she leave it on each one?
It depends, but we'll visit, say 2 or 3 hours. And by the time I leave, she can tell a significant difference.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah, you can imagine. I'm seeing her soon and getting her to pre-register.
Okay, so pre-register's done. We're reopening on Monday.
Oh, okay. Well, getting her to open on Monday then. Yeah.
Yeah. That is going to be exciting that we're reopening because we've been closed for 3 months. So it'll be great. And just share the testimonial videos. That's what I tell people, because there's so much wisdom in those videos. It's crazy. And I feel like it's really, you know, inspiring as well.
Oh, the range of people and their abilities and their stories is simply amazing.
Yeah.
Just knock your socks off. You know, you have somebody say, oh, that's a nice little housewife or a retired guy, you know, and then they did what?
Oh, yeah.
Just incredible.
I've had some that said we need to re-record or we need to edit some things out because I said too much. I'm like, okay, whatever. All right. So Rebecca, the best question ever is, what are you looking forward to with your do-over? Having a healthy 30-year-old body. What are you going to do? What excites you about that?
Well, I'm going to get in shape and I'm going to go shopping. I have had to hide my legs for decades because I have bad spider veins. And I'm not going to wear micro minis or anything, but I'm gonna be able to show off. I have nicely shaped legs. They just look like someone took a ballpoint pen to them, you know?
Aw.
And if we have the possibility, I could never have children and we could never find out why. Of course, now I'm going to have a partner in crime. I can't do that by myself, but I would love to have a family.
Aw.
It just always broke my heart, you know, that I couldn't. And I went to specialists. One doctor looked at me. He was so funny. He says, "Madam, you should have had 6 children by now." I said, "Tell me about it." So I don't know what it was, but hopefully this will. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. You know, it's okay. But it would be.
It's supposed to repair everything, so everything's working perfectly. And so, but you are another one who would be a good candidate for the post-QR dating app.
Oh, okay.
Talking about that, because that way, think about it. You have a healthy 30-year-old body, but you're 50 something. And then, so do you go for somebody who's 50 something or do you go for somebody who's 30? I mean, like, we're not going to want to date a 30-year-old that's, you know,
you wouldn't know.
Unaware.
Well, thank you very much. I'm 66.
Woo! You look good, girl.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, no, I'd already thought about that. I had guy friends that tried to date younger cheeky poos, and they gave it up pretty quickly because they couldn't even discuss music or books, or, you know, they just added those pretty little lashes and didn't have a clue, you know, what are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. You need to be somebody on your level. And so I really am I'm going to mention that on our call today with Cynthia and see what she says. I'll just say I've interviewed so many singles that want to have a family. You know, I think it would be so fun if we had that.
Well, it would definitely be, even if it didn't turn out for a permanent partnership, it would be nice just to have that network because, you know, I can imagine I taught school for over a decade. And if I tried to date somebody a lot younger than me, I'd feel like I was doing something wrong. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, so cute. Look at her little dimple. She's such a doll." You gotta be kidding. It's a little kid, you know?
Oh yeah. I think it would help a lot. So I'm going to mention that again.
Well,
So what are
kudos.
you going to do? You with this healthy 30-year-old body besides having a family?
I have very big plans. I want to have a community assistance center.
Oh, are you with LWS?
Yes. And
Oh.
but I also, my big dream, when I was 19, I married someone from South America, and I went and lived in the Amazon jungle in a city called Iquitos. And I just fell in love with Peru. Peru is the other half of my heart. Not that I'm proud American, love my country, all that good stuff. But Peru, I still have his family still, they never disowned me. They still claim me. And they're fabulous people. And I used to have children come knock on the door and beg for food. Peru should be one of the wealthiest countries in the world. The mineral wealth, the biological wealth, the people are not lazy. They're good, intelligent people, and they have wonderful souls. But because of the present evil system and bad people in charge, they're just impoverished. And I want to bring help to them so they can fulfill their destiny. They deserve better. Every time they try to do something better, here comes the fly swatter.
Yeah. Well,
So I want to go to Peru and put in centers and beds and QArts, whatever. I want to help those people so much because they deserve it.
Yes. I can feel your heart and your commitment to do that. And it's going to be so wonderful.
Well, it's if you ever went to Peru, it is just amazing. Machu Picchu is like not a part of this planet even. It's so incredible.
Wow. It's a hiking mountain, right? I feel like my cousin went and hiked Machu Picchu.
You can take the Inca Trail to Machu Picchu. You have to go with a guide in groups. And then once you're there, you can go up the peak in the back. It's called Huayna Picchu, but you darn well better be knowing what you're doing because it's not widely publicized, but they lose quite a few every year off the side. It goes straight down into the canyon and the river.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't want to do that.
Well, if you know what you're doing, the problem is the wind will pick up sometimes unexpectedly,
Yeah. No, I like to hike, but I don't like to do dangerous stuff.
I understand.
Oh, that sounds beautiful though,
Oh no, it's fabulous. Just fabulous.
My project is I want to go all around the world and open centers, like do the grand openings and interview the people who get to be the first to experience the healing center and, create testimonial videos for, their population.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that, they have that story out there for their area. So,
and yeah, that's the thing, because like my family down there, de la Torre Ugarte, one of my niece's daughters just competed at Wimbledon.
wow.
Yes, she is placed higher than any other Peruvian tennis professional in the history. And then one of my nephews is a lawyer and another is an engineer. And so I've got this network of professionals in place who already know everybody and do everything.
Well, it sounds like it's meant to be, Rebecca. That's awesome. Well, I can't wait to have you back post QArc and see your sexy legs. Are you going to come back and do part 2?
Of course, I would be honored. And thank you for your patience with me today.
Oh gosh, it's a pleasure. It is just such a pleasure. Thank you for coming and hanging out and sharing your story and your passion for Peru. It was beautiful. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Ditto.
Mwah. Have a beautiful day, my darling.
You too.
Thank you. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for making this QHS project fly. This valorous admin team, thank you. The Key community welcomes you. Thank you for making your home QHS healthy and happy. Thank you for helping us place QH centers all around the world. Together, hand in hand, we make miracles happen. QuantumHealingSystems.org. Thank you.